Head shark!
Maybe you can hum the theme song. Won't hold it against you if you get parts wrong. While the memory's not too strong, there's a piece of you from a time long gone. So while these fuzzy warm feelings remain, question we ask is still the same. Is it a treasure or just plain lame? Is this still good?
Hello and welcome back to Is This Still Good Underground, the Still Good spinoff covering only the greatest and most 90s underground cartoons. Air horn! This counts as an underground cartoon, right? They go underground.
They shark dive. Yeah, they do go under the ground. They shark
Anyway,
dive.
I'm Sage.
I'm Gavin.
And
but you already know that.
Hopefully, if you are listening to what is probably being titled a lost episode, this is not your first rodeo with Is This Still Good?
That's right. Yeah, this should be episode 0, which means it comes much later. And then years later, fans will think it's a prequel, and then they like if they decide to go as like a temporally released version rather than like going with the timeline of releases, you know, like watching the prequel trilogy of Star Wars first. Don't do that to yourself.
Yeah, I was thinking that we could like start introducing like time travel and franchises and various Still Good spinoffs and just like really muddy the water of our brand. Anyway, we felt we owed you an explanation before just jumping into this episode. So basically, before we started recording things in the pandemic, we'd flirted with this podcast for a little bit in various iterations. And one thing that we did record was an episode on Street Sharks back in 2019. Now, I'm just going to level with you. It's not good. That's why we didn't release it. It's not good. It doesn't represent really what the podcast came to be. It's weirdly... There's a lot of problems with it that 5 years later, I, who have learned how to edit this stuff through trial and error, can now massage it and edit it into something that you could listen to.
That's right. This episode is listenable.
Yeah. And we wouldn't be doing this at all, except that every time we do bring up Street Sharks on a podcast or share a Street Shark meme on Instagram, like someone does respond and go like, you guys should talk about Street Sharks or you guys should release the Street Sharks episode. And like, I don't know, you asked for this. I'm talking to like 6 people. The rest of you did
6
not.
Sounds high. Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't count. So Gavin, do you remember recording this episode back in 2019?
I do. Like, you know.
Okay, well, I don't. So, fill me in. I just have the files somehow.
Well, the thing that I didn't remember is, I'd forgotten this was pre-pandemic because this show feels obviously like a
timeless
pandemic baby. Yeah, we recorded this in my living room in San Francisco, if I remember correctly. We were sitting on my couch, sharing a microphone, passing it back and forth, I think. Like this was...
It's kind of hard to tell from how I had to manipulate the recording. I remember kind of doing this with Labs.
Maybe it was Labs. It was definitely like something you're like, I don't know, we'll throw this together. You're a professional sound mixer, but like you were like, this is gonna be fun. I don't think we were fully sober.
We definitely were not. It turns out Labs are not the right way to record a podcast. If you were in a soundproof studio, yes, but if you were in Gavin's cavernous bedroom, I think we did this in your bedroom because it was at least slightly better baffled.
There's no place to sit in my bedroom. It would have been my living room.
There's a bed.
Why? That's bad.
Brought in
for
a chair. There was a
There's
bed.
no support. Okay. Lumbar support's important. My couch also lacks that, but
we might have different priorities when it comes to our spines, but okay.
And it was also like that's where the TV was, so we could literally like watch the episode, stop it, and record it.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
And we watched Street Sharks on YouTube, which you can still do, should you decide, after listening to this or before listening to this. Be bold.
That's right. It's time to plug Google.
Go watch some Street Sharks and, listen along as I introduced what was like a childhood memory to me and something Sage had never heard of, which is like a great way to start.
Yeah, so anyone who has listened to this podcast by now knows that I grew up in the woods without TV. I had access to movies. Gavin grew up with more TV, and that's been a lot of the dynamic. And certainly a lot of our earlier episodes were about like the TV shows that I missed. which turns out is just a lot harder to develop as a concept. It requires a lot more just work on our ends to make something coherent, and just to watch 10, 30, 50 hours worth of shitty Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ripoffs.
Yeah. And I mean, another thing to remember too is like I grew up with TV, but I didn't grow up with cable most of the time. So a lot of the shows that Sage were missing were not the cream of the crop with the budgets either. So that's yeah, there's a reason these haven't really necessarily stuck around for all time.
Do you remember the earthquake during recording?
I did not. But
I don't either, but it got cut from the episode that I'm going to show you, but it did say, we're back, there was an earthquake, we're under the table.
Oh, San Francisco.
And who knows? I think we recorded this in San Francisco and in Los Angeles. I'm not sure.
Oh, interesting.
It's definitely two parts, because one thing that might be worth bringing back is we did a little thing beforehand where we bring up our memories and what we expect from it. So basically you prepped Street Sharks for me, and then we watched an episode, and then I yelled at you for a while.
Which, I mean, they're listening back to this episode. I know, yes, there's obvious sound issues, bumbling all over the place.
No, I fixed everything. It's perfect.
It's very charming. Like I actually find the format has grown, but not that much. There was a lot already there. The backhanded compliment, I guess.
Well, as long as we're sucking our own dicks, I personally enjoy where we scrambled and came up with the "Is this still good?" format live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which remains largely unchanged.
Yeah. One thing that we did not have that has become a staple is we did not reboot Street Sharks.
Oh.
And boy, do I have some fucking news for you, Gavin. We have the rights to Street Sharks. That's right. Nobody else wanted them, and the guy who had them has crippling debt.
That checks out.
Yeah. Also, he got so sued by Laird and East. Laird and Eastman?
Laird and Eastman, yeah.
Yeah, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle boys.
It's a reference I understood.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it was fun to have you explain this to me, but I would have loved it to, had someone who grew up on Street Sharks and had no idea that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle existed. There's got to be that person out there.
I don't know if that
there are
exists.
Wings out there who don't know that Paul McCartney was in the Beatles. Not a lot of them, but there has to be at least one person. It's Paul McCartney from Wings.
I'm going to start saying that to people. No, there's no way it exists.
I say that anytime someone brings Paul McCartney up. Yeah, you got
John
Paul
Lennon
McCartney
from
from
the
Wings.
Plastic Ono Band?
Yeah, George Harrison from That Stabbing. Ringo Starr from Pop Star Never Stop Never Stopping and The Magic Christian.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Actor Ringo Starr?
We have to put the Street Sharks movie into development in 6 hours.
Oh, God.
So, do you have a pitch?
The funny thing about the nostalgia of this all is I just want the Street Sharks that I imagined in my head. So I just want this with a writer's room that takes it seriously.
What if the thing but good?
Yeah, basically. I think it's a great idea. I don't think you need to tweak a lot of the idea. I think you just need some budget to do it properly. I think that four brothers whose dad gets treacherously betrayed by his partner in science and turned into a fish monster, then goes and turns the brothers into fish monsters, and they become cool dudes who hang around town and also solve crimes. I like the laid-back nature of it. I like the silliness of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles without even the attempt of having a Raphael. I'm unbothered by that. I don't think I want to see live action necessarily. I think keep it animated, and just this is a tangent. Never mind. Not gonna do that tangent. I just
You blue ball me on a classic Gavin Murray tangent.
I was going to talk about the new King of the Hill reboot, and that just
nope,
seems like
we're
a
not
very
doing
far stretch.
And how it needs more body horror.
Yeah, no, I want to see the goofy version of it. There's that struggle with like, all right, here's a tangent, Mortal Kombat. Uh, I want the world where we get the dark Mortal Kombat and the goofy Mortal Kombat, and I think there's a world with Street Sharks where I would love to see a lot of people get their stab at this. When something is this low stakes, I just want to see some people do shit with it. So I would love to see people approach this with a budget and with passion. That's all.
Okay. What budget do you think? Because you said it's like low stakes, we'll give it to someone. That implies it's not $100 million property.
Fold it into the Mortal Kombat. Fold it into the Marvel, the MCU. And I expect at least 40 million, yeah.
I mean, we've said on episodes that, like, man, if they were making Marvel movies at 40 million, they would probably fucking slap. Like, give us the movie that's just Chris Evans adjusting to real life, like pre or post Avengers. It's just like a Noah Baumbach Captain America adjusting to society movie.
Street Sharks, where they're just recapping the Vietnam War and they're all shell-shocked. Yeah. Give me like they're dealing with the trauma of having been sharks and they can never go back.
Yeah, I think my version of this is just I was going to do the classic one where, well, I don't like those Michael Bay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too much, which we did cover on a magnum opus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle episode with Ulrich, and later we did more turtle movies with
that is
with
how
our friend
we've
Paula.
used our time, on this earth.
I watched 6 fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies for one thing, and I'm complaining about watching a season of Street Sharks.
I didn't make you watch a season. Slow down. 6 episodes is a lot, but
it is a lot of Street Sharks. But for some reason, that felt cruel for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to put them through what Michael Bay did. But I feel like all those same things, I think if you just put Street Sharks in that, it would work better. I think like, one of the turtles trying to fuck April O'Neil as Megan Fox is like really kind of loathsome to watch in the movie. But I think if it was a street shark, I wouldn't have a problem with it. And there's no reason the turtles are really held to a higher standard, except that traditionally they are.
Part of that might be the fact that the street sharks are supposed to be like high schoolers, and they were high school dudes before they became sharks. Whereas the turtles grew up as
They're
turtles.
literally teenage.
But they grew up as turtles. They didn't grow up as weird, horny teenagers. Okay. And so I don't know. And they were never human either.
Wow.
Technically. They're not. They're turtles.
Wow.
They're turtles with ooze on them. As opposed to humanoids that have become sharks.
So the one other pitch that I had, now that we've molded around a little bit, is I want the version of Street Sharks that's just Street Sharks in therapy. The whole thing is taking place at a sort of mental institution, or maybe like an Arkham Asylum thing. You can throw in some other anthropomorphics, but it's just them dealing with the trauma of the body horror that they experience every day. Because when they're not enjoying chewing up concrete and traveling around and fighting crime, they have to live with being a shark, which. Maybe one of them gets cancer, and then they're all really confused. They're like, we're sharks and we still get cancer? What is the point?
I like that you're approaching
there are no jokes in it.
Sincerity of Deep Blue Sea, where the sharks are used to cure cancer, is real.
Darren Aronofsky's Street Sharks.
I was imagining like after they transform, because they still have clothes on. Do you think they like open up their pants, look down, and what is the reaction?
In my version, yes.
Staring at where I just have no idea how you approach that. I think we should spend the rest of the podcast figuring it out.
I think we've chewed up our time, and I want to throw it over to a friend of ours, the biggest Street Sharks fan that I know, a very large little boy by the name Vin Diesel.
Vincenzo Diesel?
Vincenzo Diesel. Hey, boy, that's just gonna come out like Sylvester Stallone. Do you have a Vin Diesel?
Family. I don't know. No.
I can almost do just a laugh. All right.
What are we looking at?
Is this going
We're
through or
looking
no?
at Boomer. This is Boomer. He's got the biggest mouth of them all. He's the whale shark. Say hello to that round mound of pound of his power slam. Very deadly. Oh. He loves to tenderize the competition before he eats him. Then we've got Sledge the Hammerhead. Sledge the Hammerhead loves to floor the competition with the flying headbutt. You got me? He's the leader of the Street Sharks. He's a great warrior. He's got the real shark skin, and his special power is the right hand roundhouse punch. He sends the competition to a watery grave.
My favorite.
Death. I want to show you something up close and personal. I've got something here with such fantastic detail, it's going to blow you away.
I think this will still work as audio.
Hand shark!
Hand shark.
Good shush! Rocky Balboa action.
There you
I
have
love
it.
All right. Enjoy the episode.
Half shark, half man, fighting evil, that's the plan. Street sharks. Street sharks. Street sharks.
All right, so what are we doing here?
This is an attempt at episode 1 in which we watch Street Sharks to find out if it's any good. Like, I wish and hope and don't think.
All right, question.
Shoot.
I've literally never heard of Street Sharks before you brought it up as if it was a real and major thing in your life.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no, I've never heard of Street Sharks in a day of life. I am imagining a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle just clone, but they're sharks and probably aren't in the sewer.
You are correct.
Oh,
That's
okay.
exactly what it is.
See, I'm really good at this.
Made by Deke.
Deke?
Yeah, it's like I think a small animation company in the 90s.
Did they do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Or
No.
like, were they denied to do it and this is their sworn revenge?
I think that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had already been around for a few years, and they decided to move in on that. Deke did a lot of like book to limited animation stuff, if I remember correctly. It was mostly aimed at younger kids, but somehow they wound up with, I think, the Street Sharks contract, and it was based on, I mean, it was made to sell toys.
Mhm.
You know, unlike
Street Sharks.
and so you get these awesome, like, the toys were amazing. They were half man, half shark. They were like not hard, so they're kind of rubbery, like what you'd imagine a shark would feel like. And they had like, you know, punching action and jetpacks and all sorts of the cool shit that you would get with a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles clone. And then they made a show out of it.
Did they ever make like a Street Sharks video game? Street
Yeah.
Sharks in space.
You know, the show had a lot of characters because they had a lot of toys to sell, and they were all named with that sort of intelligence, I would say. There was a game I was saying that we could play where like we give myself 30 seconds or like 20 seconds to try and name as many characters as I can.
And don't limit yourself.
But I'm wondering if that like would spoil the surprise of you meeting these characters and hearing their names, which I think might be
Why
better.
don't you say some names and then some fake names, and I have to guess. I have to guess what they are.
I also thought about that.
Okay, well then it's clearly a very good idea.
All right. So there's a character named Sharktooth.
Okay. Are we doing this one by one?
Well, let's do 3, and one
Okay.
one will be fake.
2 sharks and a lie.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Streaks, Sharktooth, and Slamoo.
Ooh, I feel like Streaks is just a shortened Street Sharks, but like I don't know if you or the show is being lazy in that. Slamoo is the Shamu, but a fighting shark. I'm gonna go with Slamoo because you paused, but Streaks, it's Streaks.
So both of those are the real names. Sharktooth is made up, unless that's on a character in that's a character in an episode that I haven't seen.
I bet Sharktooth shows up at
So also, this show was accompanied by such magical other shows as my other favorite was Biker Mice from Mars. Did you hear about that?
probably from you.
Okay. Biker Mice from Mars is alien mice who ride motorcycles come down to future Earth that is super run by corporations, and they lead a rebellion. Oh, actually it's aliens coming down and like setting up corporations,
Okay.
and they fight that by being a biker gang.
Seems like it's surprising that there's mice in that show at all.
And then the Street Sharks also had a crossover episode with, I think it was Extreme Dinosaurs, which is basically the same thing with dinosaurs.
Okay.
It was a golden age of television.
Dinosaurs and extreme dinosaurs.
Yeah, in my memories, all this stuff was amazing. But I think I did go back and watch an episode of Street Sharks, and it was utter horse shit.
Well, yeah, so when is the last time
Oh, it's been
you
years.
watched this? Okay.
I have somewhat high hopes. I'm worried the pilot episode's pretty bad, and then we'll fast forward ahead to something just insane, because the show went all over the place.
Okay. Did it go to space?
I would not be surprised.
Because I'm already writing on my pitch for Street Sharks in Space.
Yeah. Oh, and the episodes names are all great too.
Okay.
The first episode that we will
Two
watch.
real episode names.
Yes. Okay. All right. I'll give you the name of the first episode, and then I'll pitch you 3 scenarios, 2 of which I know are real.
All right.
So, name of the first episode is The Gene Slamming Begins. The episode choices are:
God damn it.
the Street Sharks are visited by a rock and roll star that's also a shark. And the evil villain, tries to sell poisoned food to teenagers at rock concerts to bring down the Street Sharks. Or B, the subway is overtaken by these strange monsters that no one can see, but people are disappearing. Street Sharks have to investigate, all to find out that it is, in fact, new creatures created by the villain in order to bring down the Street Sharks. Or C, the Street Sharks are late for their high school football game, and it turns out that the villain is interrupting the game and trying to keep them from it.
All right. Fuck you. I know for a fact that these are all Doctor Who episodes.
Maybe I should watch Doctor Who.
I guess the third one.
I kind of made up the second one and the third one, but the third one is based on like a generic run of the
I
show.
feel like you play a very dishonest.
All right, I think we should watch this show.
All right. Let's do Street Sharks.
And we're back, Jawsome.
I'll do a quick recap.
Okay.
So, Dr. Paranoid, co-head of research at Fission State University,
You're killing it. You should be in the Street Sharks writing room.
has finally perfected his gene slamming serum. Dr. Bolton, the good-hearted other head of the department, tries to stop him from monster-esque studies, but instead he becomes the first victim to Dr. Paranoid. He turns him into an unseen, horrifying creature who quickly runs away. Then we meet his sons, as they prove to be super chill dudes who go to college.
How do they prove? Is there some sort of like wacky 90s montage introducing the different brothers?
I believe you could call it that. The moment I remember most is one of them is, I think, sleeping through his classes. The other, it's all their time to meet up with their dad. So they're all calling each other during this montage.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the sports guy who catches a football and then runs literally through a goalpost,
Mm-hmm.
which
It was the 90s.
not the first time he's done it too, apparently, because on the phone, all of his brothers laugh at him, knowing what has happened. We've got
It was the 90s.
the motorcycle one who's finishing up a game of pool, I believe, soon to become Ripster. We've got inline skates, and then the one who's sleeping through a phone call, basically. They all decide to race to meet their dad at the lab.
Really quick, I gotta stop you. Does one of the sharks rollerblade past a girl yo-yoing?
Yes, that does happen.
Okay.
Not a shark yet.
Oh yeah, sorry. Spoilers for Street Sharks.
This sets the tone as they do tear their way through Fission City, racing on motorcycle, rollerblades.
Yeah, you really understand which each character
Skateboard.
are so that you can tell them
This
apart
is
when
their
they're sharks.
personalities. Yeah.
It's very shrewd storytelling.
They arrive at the lab, and Dr. Paradigm,
It doesn't matter.
convinces them that their dad is inside the lab, but he is wearing, suspiciously, their dad's watch. What follows is they get tricked, trapped, and turned into the street sharks. He assumed that part of their transformation would bend them to his will, but these sharks are are like too much of a match for that, and they break out and become the heroes that Fish and City needs as they continue to foil such plans of Dr. Piranoid, who was later turned into half piranha, half man. Yeah, you didn't get quite far enough to see
What
that.
the fuck, Gavin?
Yeah, as he creates his own army of strange gene slammed minions and then proceeds to try and turn everyone in the city continuously into sharks, I think is kind of his overarching ideal future. And yeah, that is the world of street sharks.
And this was your thesis for your doctorate, right?
I really enjoy this show. I thought about it very often, and I will say I did revisit it like 6 years ago,
Okay.
and could not
That
get through an
fits.
episode. But I was chomping at the shark bit. I don't have a good pun for that, but
You were
excited.
baited.
I was excited to get back into it, and
You were Finn a shark.
but the world is just a rich tapestry.
Yeah, the world is magic and you get to live in it. That's the one thing that I'm learning from revisiting all these properties, or in my case, for the first time on a lot of them. So, describe how Street Sharks entered your life. Do you have like a vision or a moment where you're like, oh shit, Street Sharks?
I have memories of watching this as a kid. This was my favorite of those like era of TV shows. I probably watched more Street Sharks than I did TMNT, or I had a Biker Mice from Mars Biker Mice from Mars bike. But I also had a Street Shark toy, and this was like when I lived in San Francisco and was a kid, and was watching this, and I'd go to school in like probably 6th or 7th grade, and the richer kids at my school would have these toys that like I'd get to like play with on the schoolyard with them, and they were awesome. They were Jawsome. Sorry.
That's right. I was about to hit you, boy.
They were these like larger action figures. They were big, and they were like kind of soft and rubbery, like approximating shark skin, I guess. And as Vin Diesel recently showed us, they each had their own unique powers. And at the show, I'm not sure if it was the show offering multiple versions of toys or multiple versions of toys inspiring multiple episodes of Street Sharks. Most likely the latter. But like, this was a rich world of toys. I did watch a lot of the show and I saw a lot of toys, and it was kind of a big deal. If like, I mean, again, you don't know them, but that clip that I did send to the group chat that we did bring up and was playing in the episode, like everyone in that group chat, aside from you, was like, "Oh man, my childhood. There it is."
Yeah, everyone had feels. I didn't have a TV growing up. I'm sure we'll cover that in depth at some other time. But like, I watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, not just like the live action ones, but I'd track down. They might have just been like 2 or 3 episodes that were put onto one VHS. They were, yes. No, that makes sense.
Just like how this show, the first like 4 episodes are really more of a pilot movie.
Yeah. Yeah, you have not lied yet.
Not a single bit of breath between each episode, because these things do move at like 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Oh my god, there is no time to just sit down and like reflect, either internally or externally.
Yeah, if you didn't have ADD before, no, I'm just kidding.
Well, that is my biggest problem looking at this show as an adult, is that there's no moment where these teenagers who were turned into sharks against their will like have to really deal with the reality of being a shark and the struggle, and like I guess they become superheroes. They don't have to do whatever jobs they had to do beforehand, but like they still gotta eat and open doors, and everything's just a little bit different. And like maybe it just says something about my developing taste, where like I really want just like, is there a body horror episode where they wake up and do not recognize themselves in the mirror?
David Cronenberg's Street Sharks.
But don't you think that's a missed opportunity?
Oh, I do, and I think you can live in a world with both.
Yeah.
I am. The world is ripe for a Street Sharks reboot.
Oh, gritty platinum dude Street Sharks reboot.
But no, it is a very, very optimistic version of a show in which, like, I mean, And actually, Dr. Paradigm's first name is Luther, and he is very Lex Luthor.
I don't get it. Explain it to me.
He's a bald-headed man. Who
Oh,
thinks a
now
lot
I
of
get
himself
it.
And
Okay.
wants to change the world in his own image. But yeah,
He wants to save the world before the street sharks do.
right. Make it, hit the next evolution. He's also this show borrows readily from everything.
Would you use borrow? Would you use that word to describe it?
I'm going to for now, but I get your insinuation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's a very, very positive. Like the townsfolk are barely frightened, if not excited, about the fact that there are sharks in their midst.
Yeah, everyone is very calm about the fact that they went from a pre-street sharks world where they're like the catalyst for like all the different genetic things and all the different wacky things and crossovers that'll happen in the series. But my understanding is that before those boys turned into street sharks, they were living in the same universe as us, the same 90s world that I grew up in. And then afterwards, there are Manta Mans and Kilamaris and other wonderful puns.
Just to take it back to like one episode, I think past Where You Were is like a very quintessential Street Sharks episode called Shark and Roll, in which Dr. Paradigm hatches a plan to throw a free rock and roll concert and give everyone free popcorn that he's infected with gene slamming technology. So
Sorry. What? You might just have to say the exact same thing again, but like, is there a wait? What?
So all the townsfolk show up, all the hip teens, to see this new rock and roll show, only to find that the rock star who's coming to town has been gene slammed himself and is now the character Rocks, a rock and roll shark. Rocks performs, and the street sharks have to stop Dr. Paranoid's evil plan by taking away people's popcorn, but also playing drums in the band.
Isn't taking away popcorn like something that the villain would do in a 90s show?
I don't know if you're familiar with Batman, but like he's not always.
Describe this Batman to me.
I'm just saying the Street Sharks.
Is it like Street Sharks? Is it another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ripoff?
The Street Sharks may not be the heroes that Fish City wants, but they're the heroes that Fish City needs sometimes. Also, mostly they want them because they totally get away with everything.
I noticed you didn't say deserve. So what?
Hey, I'm a Street Sharks fan.
I believe you.
Not necessarily a Batman fan. That's not true. Don't write angry fan mails. I love Batman, especially Batman and Robin. We'll get into that in a future episode, I'm sure.
And you could write in your complaints to fuckbatman@gavinmurray.com.
GavinVMurray.com.
So is this a very special music episode? I mean, what role does music play in this show?
Well,
Literally all I've wanted to talk about this entire podcast.
You may have heard the theme at the opening of our podcast about the Street Sharks and how they fight, they bite, they stand for everything right. Half
They do all
shark,
those things. It's
half
great.
man, fighting evil. That's their plan.
You must be a real fan to remember all of this.
I mean, it's just really good lyrics.
That's like all of the lyrics, by the way.
Well, you forgot Street Sharks.
Yeah.
Street
Well, technically you
Sharks.
said Street Sharks while you're introing.
They're Jawsome.
They bite. They're Jawsome.
But
It's a minute and a half. It's like a good 10% of the show.
Something that they start doing later on in the show, as the adventures get crazier and crazier, is they felt the need, and possibly the budget constraints,
Possibly.
to do recaps of what you'd already seen in the first half of the episode while doing like a 3-minute song original about each episode. In the last episode we watched, what was do you want to describe the song that we heard?
Oh, good thing I wrote it down so I have a note about this. I believe it's called "We're Going to Make Techno History," and it's a little beats like behind it, and they sing about what's currently happening, and you'd think that would line up with the images that you're being shown, but you have seen all those images in the episode already because they are just reusing footage.
This was not an expensive looking show in general. It did get a little bit better in the episode that you're actually talking about, I would say, is some of their better animation.
I mean, the animation improves, but like, who cares? Like, I'm not impressed by it at any time.
I want to argue, but I don't think I'd win that argument.
I mean, there was that moment where one of the street sharks was kind of phasing through time. I was like, oh, they actually made it like opaque. They did something. They didn't commit to it because there's still like a street shark will phase out. It's like, oh no, I'm slipping through time.
Yeah, they just
Spoilers
look very
again
Marty
for street
McFly.
sharks. And then like on the next scene, he's just regular, but they just act. Not the next scene, the next shot.
Yeah, just in case you haven't watched the entirety of the Street Sharks.
Which stop what you're doing, watch 40 episodes of Street Sharks, and come back and listen to this
Yeah,
again.
spoilers.
Yeah, we're gonna spoil Street Sharks in this.
This isn't the only episode though where they do that recap music montage that does not further the story.
No.
But
In fact, I think I remember it in episode 4. Is that when they started
Awfully
doing That's
possible.
really early to start having
But-
budget constraints.
there is something extremely charming, if frustrating, about that.
Yeah. You know, I would be into it if it was like 20 seconds long, but it's a full 3.5-minute song, which means that 5 minutes out of every 20 minutes of Street Sharks is unnecessary music.
Unnecessary
I'm
seems
counting the
harsh.
theme. And like, so when I'm watching season 3, because he showed me the first 4 episodes, and then a couple just later when we get into the wacky time travel stuff.
Time travel, alternate dimensions, dinosaurs that are also aliens,
Extreme dinosaurs.
extreme dinosaurs,
Whew.
Manta Man,
All that
Neko
good stuff.
sharks.
Calamari. Just really revisiting
all these toys you can buy.
all these toys you can
Which
buy.
actually, I have to admit, after revisiting, I did go on eBay when I was still kind of intoxicated,
Okay.
and I did purchase a Jab action figure for more than $20.
Wow. How much more than $20?
Only like 5 more. I handled my stuff a little bit, but those things get expensive on eBay, I will say.
Yeah, no, when you texted me that you had bought something off of eBay for too much money, I gotta be honest, I was really worried because I've heard things about people who try to be collectors and can't afford it. I don't know anyone personally, but you have the legends of people who just bought something they wanted online while drunk and now are homeless.
Part of the dangers of this nostalgia trip that is this still good? Is we are both kind of experimenting in dangerous places, but I'm excited to go on this trip.
I want to pull up, speaking of the toys, I want to pull up a video I found. You showed me.
Thank you.
Of one of the original toy commercials. Here we go.
Reptiles destroying the city! Not if I can help it! Shark attack! Shark attack! Streak flies into action on his new motorcycle skates to battle Piranoid and the evil reptile! Cool Shark rips or blasts his mega bomb! Then transforms his shark jet, takes off and fires these missiles! They're no match for the Street Shark! Jawsome! Street Shark figures and shark jet each sold separately, only from Mattel!
Oh, I thought that was the one where the kid transforms into an actual shark.
It happened in the very beginning. That's your body.
Oh, show moves so fast.
In terms of like, this may not be the most remembered show on the planet, but that animation of that kid turning into a shark, which is truly horrific,
is burned into your brain forever.
and does come up a lot in modern memes.
What's the legacy of Street Shark?
I would say it is minimal, but that in itself has spawned one of the more interesting stories to come out of Street Sharks, that when I've mentioned this to people who maybe didn't grow up with it, they have mentioned this article. At the earlier time in the internet, when Wikipedia was, more of a wild, wild west and people weren't quite fact checking as much as they should, one author decided that he would become the Street Sharks knowledge bank that on the internet, and proceeded to edit all of the articles on Wikipedia, and I think he also worked for another website. And because he knew that no one really remembered the show that well, he took it on himself to just fabricate episodes and episodes and episodes of writing, including creating whole characters that didn't exist. The show left itself with like somewhat low-hanging fruit in terms of naming characters, i.e. Slobster, Dr. Paranoid, Killamari, Manta Man,
Yeah, I would believe anything you told me about the
Moby
show.
Lick, Rox, and then I think it is Roxanne or Roxette.
Roxette would fit more with
is
the
the-
rocker theme.
Well, that's the sister
Yeah.
that is not explored until season 3, added late in the show to get more female viewers interested in the Street Sharks universe.
You mean Street Sharks wasn't patterned directly to the female demographic?
So upon editing all these, inputting all these episodes, some real, some fake, the feedback he was getting on people talking about episodes, some of them were naming the ones that he made up as their favorite episodes that they remembered as childhood memories that he'd clearly fabricated, and through them remembering by reading, they'd fabricated their own memories of this show that were completely untrue. And they believed them. And that Roxette character that I mentioned is an entire fabrication that he created. She is not a character in the show. But just like, because this is so close to so many other shows and the memories get, blended, like there was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle that was a girl in the live action series that people hated. And so it was not at all a big jump to believe that there was a female Street Shark.
Yeah. I feel like I saw a female Street Shark. I don't know what's going on in any of these fucking episodes, man.
And some people said they were her favorite character.
Wow.
And were they in on the joke? Were they not? Were these all trolls? Were just some of them trolls? Were people being trolled over? After he did this, he wrote up an article that created this meme, and it fooled and or was bought into by other internet people. And this literal fake news really changed the way people look at Street Sharks.
Really
And-
like the most damaging fake news that we've had in the last couple years.
But it served as a good example of how memory, especially when tied to just kind of emotion, because this show doesn't live in a literal place. It feels like it does, but
It's Fish and
it
City.
is more like childhood memories and the wonders that this exists in the world, that people had jobs to animate a group of brothers who were turned into half man, half shark hybrids that fight crime in this weird, wacky 90s California city. That's great. I love that this is our world. And, you can kind of put whatever you want into that memory of this show. Because, the animation is cheaper. The characters aren't deep. They're kind of empty vessels for which your memories can definitely play with this beautiful world. And if instead you were fabricating things that were more playing on your fears of not understanding modern America, you could see how fake news is a dangerous thing too. And that's kind of what, in a weird, barely connected way, this author was pointing out, is that when people don't fact check, it's really on you to fact check, because you need to understand where you're getting your news and reliable nostalgia recaps from.
And this is all from your thesis,
Sure.
which is available online. It's 130 pages. Just send an email to fuckbatman@kevinmurray.com and it'll send you back a thesis.
Again, I love
That's the way it's
Batman.
always been. Well, get ready for the first ongoing joke of this podcast where Gavin fucking hates Batman.
I think there are a lot of problems with some of the mainstream recaps of Batman that there should be a bigger
Okay,
place
well,
carved
we'll
out for
save
Batman
that
and
for
Robin,
the Batman's Still Bad episode. Actually, I do want to go through Batman animated series, another childhood treasure that I missed, but I really have higher expectations of than Street Sharks. I will
I
say,
would curb that a tiny bit.
yeah. I watched the Superman show, and I've got a lot of good memories of that, and
We'll
pretty
talk-
universally people like the Batman.
This does
one
not
better.
belong in the Street Sharks episode.
No, this is the Batman episode now. We'll just go back. We'll dub over every time that we say Street Shark with Batman. We can make it work the same amount of syllables. Slambu will become Robin. It'll
Let's
just be
get back on
hot
track.
nonsense. All right. Are you? I mean, I'm just. I guess I'm just kind of impressed by your passionate defense of Street Sharks. Just that was a lot more intelligent than I expected, or was really prepared for. Final judgments, which we should
Sure,
probably
yes,
call
yes.
something other than final judgments. Can podcasts sue other podcasts?
No, what you should say is, so Gavin,
So Gavin.
is this still good?
So Gavin, I guess the most important thing to ask about Street Sharks is it still good?
Well, let's talk about our rating system that we're establishing in this episode 0 of our show.
Right. So saying that it stands up is the category of, is this still good?
I think it would be, this is still good,
This is still good.
or this lives better in your memory,
Yeah, is this better as a memory?
or we should never ever talk about this again.
Or should this just be purged from the canon of our lives?
And I mean, I just, so you're coming in it as a
I'm coming into it as a
guppy,
goddamn adult.
a naive, joyless.
Did you say a guppy?
Yeah.
Just a wide-eyed guppy entering a shark world that I'm unprepared for. I guess that's accurate.
All right. I'm going to say that this probably lives better in your memory if you grew up on this show.
That means if you have it as a memory.
If you have it as a memory. But it was a more fun revisit than I was expecting. I was truly very trepidatious upon deciding to rewatch even a full episode of this show again, and we got through 6, which kudos to you for getting through. But I had
I'm a very
quite
brave
good
man.
time. So I would say it's definitely better in my memory. It's not a good show, not at all.
No?
But it was fun, and is fun.
All right. I gotta be completely honest from my side.
It's fun.
I got goddamn nothing out of this show. There was some good, but like everything that I did enjoy, I enjoyed it because I predicted it 5 seconds before it happens, and that made me feel smart.
It's not punching high.
It's not punching high. It's got no levels to it, and like. I'm sure this will come up anytime we review old cartoons, except for, I remember things like Animaniacs and Johnny Bravo having like multiple levels that you could appreciate. Even if it's just jokes that like, there's still something in it for adults.
Sure, Ren and Stimpy, like that was
Yeah.
all, those all came, I think, later than this show though. There was a period in animation where they decided that they were aiming to hit.
Wasn't Animaniacs early 90s?
I think it was a little bit later than Street Sharks. I could be wrong. But Street Sharks was aimed at a younger audience, and that's it, for sure. It was not aimed. There's no subtlety in the jokes. That woman being attracted to streaks and going tall, blue, and handsome is super weird, and I don't think ever anything else like that show is in that. And maybe it's because of that one joke. They just got nipped in the bud. No adult material. But
yes, that's true. There's subcontent in it, but that moment was not in any of the 6 episodes that I saw.
No.
And we're spoiled, like the cartoons, the children's content that I like from a modern era, things like Adventure Time and
wonderful
Steven
time.
Universe for absorbing like
Over the Garden Wall.
yeah. Like there's actual storytelling in those shows, and there's emotional stakes, and there's things that matter. I've cried several times over the run of Adventure Time. I don't think Street Sharks will make me cry if I watch 40 episodes.
And I would say that it is just not their intent.
Yeah. So as content that's just created for children, maybe it's not fair for me to judge it as an adult, but that's what this is my podcast.
This show is not about fairness. Yeah, that's
So I'm going to go with a straight up purge. I think if you take the 3 hours that we spent watching, the only good thing in my life that is going to come out of it is the however many minutes we just spent talking about this on episode whatever of is this still good?
That's fair. But if you want to ignore Sage, which all the Street Sharks is out there, and I think it is worth looking up.
Just email fuckbatman at kevinmurray.com. It'll send you back a YouTube link and a picture of his dick.
I will do no such thing, and that is not my email, thankfully. But it is worth looking.
I already registered it to you.
It is worth looking up that Vin Diesel clip and just listening to the theme song.
will give you all the nostalgia you need.
Yeah, go back to the beginning of this episode, listen to the theme song, and then listen through the rest of it, and tell us how we did. You got anything to plug?
There's this show. It's about 4 brothers who turned into sharks. No, I don't have anything to plug.
The Meg looks interesting. That's
It
a
does
shark
look fun.
movie. Yeah,
Actually,
I hope that's fun.
And on that note, another wonderful look back at sharks. Deep Blue Sea, if you haven't seen it, is a wonderful Jurassic Park remake set on a floating research thing, and instead of velociraptors, there's sharks. So go watch that. That for sure holds up.
Yeah, it holds up exactly as well as Jurassic Park. Also, there's like a week every year dedicated to sharks. This is obviously a thing you didn't know.
That is a good time to go.
Can we sign off?
There's I'm just pushing for Street Shark Week, but yeah,
Street
sure,
Shark
we're
Week.
good.
Street Shark Week is really any week that you want it, and just remember, every week is Shark Week when you're a shark
In the streets.
in the streets,
Thank you. And goodbye.
and also a shark in the
I've
streets.
been Gavin.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us again on Is This Still Good? You can find us at StillGoodPod on Instagram, or send us a formal complaint to stillgoodpod@gmail.com. We love hearing from you.
Please give us a like or review wherever fine pods are casted. It helps us trick those algorithms.
You can find me across platforms at Hold for Playing.
And I'm at Gavin V. Murray. Join us next time, whenever that may be. Bye.